Right then people, what is going on? We are back with the Aston. As you can see, she's looking a lot more assembled than she did do in the previous video. And I'm quite happy with the way it's going, but we've come under a problem. I talked about it in the last video, and basically we've got a stud that's stuck. Basically the breakers that I got the parts off, they snapped a bolt inside the core support, so now I need to remove that bolt. Like I said in the last video, this would have been an easy job if I'd have realised that while it were off the car, because we could have done it off the bench and tapped a nice hole straight through it and not had any issues. But now it's on the car, it is a bit of an issue. So first protocol today is to get that stud out, and hopefully I can get that airbox in. Now, I did try welding a nut onto it, and for some reason my weld was like grabbing really good to the nut but not to the stud. I'm not sure if they're different metals. I mean, I'm no professional welder, but I mean, I can weld, and I've never really experienced that before. I got the nut glowing hot and I felt like I was getting the wire right deep into the stud, and there's enough threads there to screw the nut on so I can see the stud through the nut, but for some reason it almost felt like quite similar to, I've welded cast or tried to weld cast before and obviously failed, and it was that sort of feeling where it breaks off and there's bits of it on it. So God knows. So Rich is here now. We're coming a little bit early to get this sorted because he needs this ramp to earn some money, and I am just wasting money sat on this ramp using my amateur skills trying to fix this car. But this is why I'm here, and this is what Rich is good at, so we can remove this stud and crack on and hopefully get this vehicle assembled. I don't think there's much more than 2 hours in left assembling this once that stud's out. All I've got to do, air boxes, wheel arch liners, under tray, put some coolant in it, put the wheels on, we should be good to go. In fact, that battery needs charging as well, but other than that, we should be good to go. So let's get straight to it. Cooking on gas. Sorry for interrupting the video, but first of all I'd like to apologise for the quality of the recording at the beginning of this video. It does get fixed soon, so please bear with it. It was obviously out of focus. I don't know how to fix that post-processing, so unfortunately I've just got the footage what I've got, and it is out of focus. But it does get better later on in the video. Next, I'd like to announce that I've got some t-shirts made for this video, and if you'd like to support the channel and support this build and just, you know, generally support me, it means that I can buy new camera equipment, it means that I can do more projects without having to save up so much money. I mean, you're directly facilitating the growth of this channel by buying some merch from me. I'm obviously trying to make the t-shirts as appealing as possible. This is an Aston Martin special edition t-shirt. When you buy one of these are going to be made to order, so you might wait a little bit longer than you maybe would do if you'd order from just a normal online shop. But I'm basically going to get the orders in as soon as this series is complete. These t-shirts will be removed from sale. All the orders will be completed and then they get shipped to you. Obviously, I've got a normal Detail Core Media t-shirt that doesn't have anything to do with Aston Martin on. It's got a pretty cool design on the back, but that is exactly how you support this channel. I really appreciate anyone that does like to support the channel. I think it's mad that people want to support the channel, but I appreciate it, and it makes me be able to do what I want to do, because I'm just a normal guy with a normal job, and the fact that I can do this is pretty insane. So thanks very much for supporting me, and yeah, the link's down below. Cheers guys. We are in and cooking on gas. Still some issues, but it's time for me to get this badger home. So there's a very short list of things that I need to do. Mainly reassembly at a later date. I need to fix the registration plates. I'm currently on some trade plates. Obviously it needs a clean, so I'm going to have to speak to Jordan, the detailing doctor. But for the most part, it's together. And in the next video, we're going to be stripping it back down to paint it all. But probably key of this is I've got it back together and it's straight. We didn't want to paint everything if then it meant that something else was slightly bent. So we purposely went out of our way. Purposely went out of our way to make sure everything fits. It's been winding me up. So we purposely went out of our way to make sure everything fits, and it does. Everything's straight. There's some slight adjustment that's needed. Some things haven't bolted on as we'd expected, but it's kind of the nature of the Aston Martin. They are hand-built machines, and there's going to be and that sounds like one of the other belts. It's not far, mate, it's literally the wrong corner. So this is part of the fan belt. Took a bit of a hit when the bash plate bent up. It's obviously still a little bit there. We were aware of it, just thought I'd be able to limp it home. This is not filling me full of confidence. As long as I keep it low RPMs, it's not spinning that much. She's straight though. The wheels are pointing forward. I mean, I can't really tell until I get some speed up, but this has fucking traumatised me enough. Right, let's get back to Hamworthy Body Shop and pick up my other car. Right then people, what is going on? So a bit of an update on the Aston. Now, I drove it home yesterday, you probably saw in the last video, some pretty awful noises. Now, we knew what it were, we kind of identified what it were, but we deemed the risk to getting it home to be not that big of a deal. Of course, the fan belt needs changing, but it needed to get out of the workshop, and a fan belt, even if a fan belt fully goes, the main problem I guess would be any damage that the fan belt causes around the engine as it goes. But for the most part, the biggest issue with a fan belt going is you'll lose any like auxiliaries that are on that fan belt route. So it's not that big of a deal. But then on my way back, the fan belt shredded a tooth, which in turn basically made a shoelace that went round the engine, and it sounded pretty graphic, but I'd say it mainly sounded that bad because it was hitting the metal under tray, which was resonating quite a lot. So it sounded a lot worse than it were. I've got it back now, and I've just realised there's quite a considerable oil leak. So there wasn't an oil leak when I set off, there was all that racket, and now there's an oil leak. So I'm pretty confident that something on the root of the fan belt where this shoelace has whipped is either broken, or it's come loose, or it's dislodged. There's going to be a problem with that there. So what I'm going to do now is, because I am back here now, I'm back to working on my back. I don't have a ramp, which now I've had the experience of working on a ramp. What a fantastic experience that were. But now I'm going out to work on my back again. I'm not looking forward to it. So I think on the cars I definitely need to get a unit at some point in the future, because it makes these jobs so much more enjoyable. So I need to go out. I'm going to jack it up. I was going to do it yesterday, but I didn't have I didn't have jack stands. I've got a nice jack, I didn't have jack stands. Normally it doesn't bother me too much, I just make sure that I'm not in the way of anything that could crush me. Like if I were to go under the X6, the clearance under the X6 is more than me, so I jack it up just to get a bit more working area, and as long as I don't go underneath the wheels, even if the jack failed, it'd just scare me, it wouldn't land on me. the clearance on this Aston Martin is enough to kill me should it fall on my head. So I'm not going under it without any jack stands. So I've got some jack stands today, which is why I didn't do it yesterday. So I've got some today. I'm going to go out there, I'm going to jack it up. I'm not going to vlog it, I'm going to jack it up. I'm going to have a look where the leak's coming from. I've kind of identified where it's coming from, kind of, because originally I thought it were maybe the sump plug, but it's not a sump plug. Like I said, it's related to where the fan belt is, so it's a bit further back on the engine. So I've identified roughly where it is. I'm going to jack it up and take a look, and hopefully I don't have to remove the under tray to find out what it is. Right then, so we're back. I've just finished from under the car. The good news is I know where it's coming from, and I've googled it, and it's quite a common fault in terms of this fixing usually fails at a later date. Obviously I've brought on premature failure by whipping it with a fan belt. That being said, it was just dislodged ever so slightly. It was just set back probably 2 or 3 mil, and when I pushed it in there was an audible click, but it's not a solid fitting now. So there's still a little bit of movement in it, and I'm not entirely sure if the little bit of movement is okay, and whether there's a very spongy O-ring to take up that movement, or whether it's going to continue leaking. So I'm going to clean the oil off, I'm going to keep an eye on it, I'm going to leave it up on its axle stands for the moment and just see if it's still leaking. And I need to go get about 1 litre of oil, because it dropped about 1 litre of oil overnight. So, but that's good news. It doesn't look like anything's broken, nothing's damaged, they're hard lines, so nothing's ripped, damaged, torn. There's no visible damage to it. It just seemed like it had just kind of unplugged itself a little bit. These are called a John Guest fitting, and yeah, they look like the common failure, and it's £8 to replace in full. I'm hoping I don't have to replace it, just because I don't want the work of having to replace it and have to drop my oil. And it's a very low mileage car anyway, so the fact that it's failing at 10,000 miles, granted it's had a bit of abuse just off that fan belt, but I don't think that will have altered anything inside. I feel like it is just dislodged. So I'm going to go and reattach it, or I already have reattached it, and I'm going to just keep an eye on it. So, little update, it seems to have stopped the leak. What I have done as well is, because I managed to catch the majority of the oil, like literally as soon as I parked it up, I noticed there were a drip coming from it, so I put a tray under it to catch it, so I don't pollute the world. But also that is good in terms of, because this is a dry sump, it's not always as easy to check the oil without running it up. So I've managed to keep the oil that's come out, so now I know how much oil to put back in. And it was less than 1 litre that came out, so now I know that if I go to the shop and I get 1 litre worth of oil, then I'll have enough to put in, and I can estimate the right amount to put in and then finalise it just by running it up. Because the last thing I want to do is run it up to check the oil level when there's not enough oil in there, because that's obviously going to be damaging to the engine. And just as running it up with too much oil would be pretty catastrophic for the engine as well. So it's always good to try and monitor how much has come out. I'd say in most situations like this, just do an oil change and change the filter, but because this has just had a service prior to me getting it, it's not really warranting changing the filter and changing the oil. So I'm just going to top it up, and I know that it got serviced by Aston Martin last time, so I can get the same oil, because they will use the same oil they always do, which is a recommended oil, so I can put the same oil back in. Should mix up quite nicely with the other oil, and like I say, the oil that's in there has only got a few hundred miles on it anyway, so it's not a big deal, it's very clear.